A female prosecutor mysteriously disappeared without a trace 4 years ago. Police were helpless, and the investigation had reached a dead end, until one day, everything suddenly changed when a disgraced inspector decided to reopen the case. The deeper he investigated, the darker the secrets became, and unexpected suspects gradually emerged. A mentally ill younger brother suspected of killing his own sister, an elderly housekeeper concealing the truth for many years, powerful figures manipulating everything from the shadows, and a young man who insisted he had seen his long-dead brother. What appeared at first to be a simple disappearance evolved into a labyrinth of conspiracy and revenge, where the truth was carefully hidden behind perfect lies. Who is the real mastermind behind it all? Is the missing female prosecutor alive or dead? And why was she subjected to such ruthless torment? Follow me as we uncover each clue and delve deep into the darkest secrets of this chilling case. A female prosecutor mysteriously disappeared. Police investigated for many years without finding any clues. Who exactly kidnapped the prosecutor? Why would they torture her repeatedly? What are they trying to hide? Not long ago, Police Inspector Mork was attacked by criminals during an investigation. His partner unfortunately lost his life. Although Pejong survived, he became paralyzed. Mork, as the main person responsible for this incident, also suffered significantly. His superior secretly demoted him, transferring him to a newly established department. Although nominally Mork was the department head, he had only two subordinates. One was Ram from Syria, the other was a curly-haired girl named Lola. Perhaps his superiors deliberately made things difficult for Mork, as the department's funding was extremely limited. They had no choice but to rent an abandoned basement as their office. Their tasks were all unsolved cold cases that the police had investigated for many years without success. Mork's career seemed doomed. Despite these conditions, Mork still diligently performed his duties. From the mountain of cases, he selected one particularly representative cold case. It was the disappearance of female prosecutor Merritt. 4 years ago, she suddenly disappeared while traveling with her younger brother. After years of investigation, there had been no progress. According to the file, Merritt's last appearance was on a ferry. She was accompanying her brother to relax. Witnesses reported seeing the siblings arguing intensely. When the ferry docked, Merritt had vanished. Since then, no one had seen Merritt again. To restart the investigation, Mork contacted an old colleague responsible for the case back then. He learned the initial theory was that Merritt accidentally drowned. However, extensive searches along the coastline turned up nothing. Additionally, all passengers on the ferry, including passengers on another ferry nearby, did not notice Merritt's disappearance. The only thing certain from surveillance footage was that the siblings indeed had a conflict. Thus, colleagues speculated that perhaps Merritt's mentally unstable brother pushed her off the ferry. This possibility existed, but lacked concrete evidence. Moreover, Merritt had offended many people due to her work. Police could not rule out revenge as a motive, yet due to insufficient clues, the investigation into Merritt's disappearance stalled. Eventually, it became a cold case. After briefly understanding the details, Mork concluded that the key to solving this mystery was Merritt's mentally ill brother. Only he knew exactly what happened on the ferry that day. Thus, Mork visited the nursing home where Merritt's brother now lived. However, upon seeing him, Mork realized the situation was far worse than he had imagined. Merritt's brother William had severe aphasia. He was completely unable to provide any useful information. Additionally, the nursing home director, who was William's legal guardian, refused police access to him. Mork hit a dead end at the nursing home. He obtained no useful clues, yet there was still a glimmer of hope. Just as Mork was about to leave, he accidentally received an important clue from the receptionist. Someone visited William every week. It was an elderly woman said to be a former caretaker for William. Hearing this news, Mork immediately shifted his approach. If he couldn't see William, he would seek out the caretaker to learn more details. Shortly thereafter, Mork arrived at the elderly woman's residence. After a brief introduction, the old lady was very cooperative. She recounted everything she knew. According to her, she worked at Merritt's home for 12 years. She once overheard Merritt mention that William's aphasia was not congenital, but caused by a serious head injury in an incident when he was 16. Merritt never discussed the details of that incident. Additionally, the elderly woman noted that Merritt highly valued privacy. Thus, she concealed William's condition. She rarely mentioned other family matters, as if intentionally hiding something. This remark captured Mork's attention. However, without concrete evidence, he dared not jump to conclusions. Next, he asked the elderly woman if Merritt behaved strangely before her disappearance. For example, was there conflict with her brother? Prompted by Mork, the elderly woman recalled another matter. Before Merritt's disappearance, she was troubled by a particular case. It was rumored to be a wife murder case. Merritt lost that case in court. Thus, during that period, Merritt appeared extremely irritable. Regarding any discord between Merritt and William, the elderly woman never noticed any. As far as she knew, the siblings were exceptionally close. Their bond exceeded that of typical family members. William would absolutely never harm Merritt. At this point, Mork raised another question. He asked if Merritt possibly suffered a mental breakdown due to losing the case and thus committed suicide by jumping into the sea. The caretaker was unsure, but noted several doubts. She said if Merritt chose to jump, William would unquestionably follow. She also believed Merritt would never abandon her brother. Thus, suicide was highly improbable. After returning to the police station to continue investigating, Mork received instructions from his superior. The police department would soon hold a press conference. His superior designated Mork as spokesperson, firstly to announce the establishment of the new department, secondly to inform the public about ongoing investigations into cold cases to boost public confidence. Mork naturally couldn't refuse his superior's arrangement. Yet shortly thereafter, when Mork announced the progress at the press conference, William at the nursing home saw the news and became emotionally agitated. He even escaped alone from the nursing home as if greatly stimulated. Simultaneously, a group of mysterious individuals also saw the broadcast. These people went to a hyperbaric chamber and repeatedly tortured the person inside by manipulating buttons. If Mork were present, he would immediately recognize the person imprisoned in the chamber. It was Prosecutor Merritt who had disappeared for 4 years. Merritt, trapped inside the hyperbaric chamber, had already confessed many things she had done in the past. Yet she still couldn't imagine who would hate her enough to subject her to such relentless torture. Merritt named everyone she had possibly offended through her work, but none seemed to fit as the real mastermind behind her imprisonment. Amid endless suffering, another name suddenly crossed her mind, a female drug addict whom Merritt had personally sent to prison. After Merritt lost the wife murder case, this woman unexpectedly reached out, claiming she possessed critical evidence that could reverse the case in Merritt's favor. In exchange, she requested a reduction in her sentence and early parole. At first, Merritt dismissed the woman's offer. Soon afterward, however, the drug addict contacted Merritt again, saying she had encountered serious trouble due to Merritt's refusal to help her. Before Merritt could understand exactly what had happened, she was abducted. After listening to Merritt's account, her captors revealed this incident was merely one of her many sins, and not the true reason they imprisoned her. Clearly, Merritt had once again provided the wrong answer, or perhaps they intended from the start to torture her slowly until she broke down completely. Meanwhile, after the press conference, Mork fully dedicated himself to the investigation and surprisingly discovered new clues. He learned that the siblings argued on the ferry because William's hat had been blown away by the sea wind. William had attempted to climb over the railing to retrieve it, but Merritt immediately stopped him, leading to the misunderstanding captured on surveillance footage. At that moment, Mork noticed something odd. A sudden gust of wind blew away his colleague Ram's hat, but instead of falling into the sea, it landed in a nearby parking lot. Mork had a bold idea. Perhaps William's hat had also been blown into the parking lot, and Merritt was attacked while retrieving it. However, this theory posed a new problem. Merritt's trip home with William was spontaneous, unknown even to their housekeeper. How could the attacker precisely predict Merritt's whereabouts and anticipate the hat incident? Based on his extensive investigative experience, Mork concluded such precise planning was virtually impossible due to numerous uncertainties. Thus, Mork suspected it wasn't a premeditated crime, but rather a crime of opportunity. Perhaps someone had been secretly watching Merritt for some reason and seized this unexpected moment to strike. Following this reasoning, Mork visited the local police station to examine Merritt's records, attempting to discover who might have held such deep-seated hatred toward her. Unexpectedly, he uncovered that Merritt's life had been incredibly tragic. Her mother had died in a car accident years earlier, and her father was an alcoholic. As a child, Merritt was frequently involved in trouble and often visited police stations. Yet, inexplicably, she later became a prosecutor. William, suffering from aphasia, had the most unfortunate fate. Intelligent, well-behaved, and consistently at the top of his class, his promising academic future was destroyed due to a single violent incident. Police records revealed detailed information about this incident. 16 years ago, Merritt was out mingling with friends, leaving William alone at home. Unfortunately, he encountered a notorious local burglar. Realizing his cover had been blown, the burglar brutally beat William, causing irreversible brain damage. In a panic, the burglar accidentally drowned while attempting to escape. Such coincidental events left Mork deeply puzzled and suspicious. To gain a clearer understanding, Mork next visited Merritt's alcoholic father. After learning Mork's purpose, her father appeared indifferent, seemingly uncaring about Merritt's fate. Father-daughter relations had deteriorated years earlier, to the point that Merritt had completely severed ties. Consequently, when Merritt returned home that day, she didn't inform her father. Thus, he was completely unaware of his daughter's recent troubles until now. Mork gained no useful information from this meeting, but as he prepared to leave, Merritt's father suddenly mentioned something strange about Merritt. Many years ago, she had stolen a necklace, the only keepsake left by his deceased wife. Her father couldn't understand why Merritt took something so significant. He assumed it was simply an act of spite against him. Mork didn't respond further, and left with his subordinate. On their return journey, he learned of William's escape from the nursing home, precisely timed with his announcement of the reopened investigation. Mork suspected William knew something crucial. Therefore, he immediately instructed Ram to find William. Meanwhile, William, after escaping, had arrived at their old family home. He rummaged through an old box, removing several yellowed drawings, carefully placing one into his pocket. Suddenly overwhelmed, William fell asleep on the sofa. He awoke abruptly to noise as several hooligans broke into the house, triggering traumatic memories. Frightened, William hastily fled the scene. Returning to Mork's investigation, Mork gradually pieced together a clear picture. He realized Merritt's return to her hometown probably wasn't related to her father, but rather to someone else significant. If correct, identifying this person would become central to the investigation. Therefore, they must thoroughly trace Merritt's past, particularly her activities in the 3 months before her disappearance. They needed to determine whom she met, the places she visited, any unusual schedule arrangements, and whether she faced threats from anyone. At this point, Mork noticed the original investigation had ended abruptly at a superficial level. Such vital information was completely absent. Mork, trusting his colleagues' professionalism, believed the only reason was deliberate concealment or sabotage from within the police department. Following this suspicion, Mork noted the original investigator assigned to Merritt's disappearance was a completely inexperienced rookie. Before Merritt's case, his most significant investigation had been hotel room thefts. A major case involving a prosecutor's disappearance would never typically be assigned to someone so inexperienced. This strengthened Mork's belief that the investigation had been deliberately misdirected, potentially involving internal corruption. Instead of confronting this openly, Mork delegated some investigative tasks to Lola and personally approached Merritt's direct superior to learn about her situation prior to disappearance. Mork learned Merritt had received death threats shortly before disappearing, yet the threats were cautiously vague, revealing nothing specific about any particular case, simply indicating someone wanted her dead. This further confused Mork. He next questioned Merritt's superior, Danny, asking why Danny had immediately concluded Merritt committed suicide. Mork argued Danny's assumption had significantly misled the initial investigation. Danny, initially surprised, calmly defended his reasoning based purely on circumstantial evidence. According to Danny, Merritt was extremely distressed and distracted after losing the murder case. Her behavior suggested she might consider suicide. Mork, however, had already heard from the elderly caretaker that things were not that simple. At the same time, Ram tracked William to Merritt's old home and encountered the same group of local hooligans who had earlier frightened William away. After some friendly persuasion, the hooligans informed Ram that someone resembling William had indeed recently visited the house and had taken away some old drawings. Ram immediately reported this discovery to Mork, who believed these drawings likely contained crucial clues. Reviewing nearby traffic camera footage, they found William had fled directly to the caretaker's residence. Mork and Ram quickly went there and found William waiting. Before they could even speak, William pulled out the drawing he had taken from the old house. Mork immediately recognized the drawing depicted a ship named Luce, and on the reverse side there was a figure wearing a hat bearing the same Luce symbol. At first, Mork didn't understand the significance until the caretaker translated William's gestures. They learned that on the day Merritt disappeared, both she and William had seen someone wearing the Luce hat on the ferry. William identified this person as the one who had attacked him years ago. Mork suspected this man might have kidnapped Merritt, but William couldn't clearly remember the man's face. After conveying this vital clue, William voluntarily returned to the nursing home. Investigating further based on this clue, Lola soon made an important discovery. She connected the Luce symbol directly to Merritt's father, who owned a boat named Luce. Lola also found William's assault had unusual aspects. The supposed burglar had only committed theft before with no record of violence, yet he inexplicably attacked William severely. Feeling suspicious, Lola visited the small town's older police officer, who originally handled the case. The officer insisted William was just unlucky, stating if William hadn't been home alone, the assault wouldn't have occurred. Unsatisfied, Lola was about to leave when another officer mentioned a strange detail. Merritt had secretly returned home once after William's assault, specifically to attend the funeral of the burglar who had attacked him. Lola was puzzled because this indicated an unusually close relationship between Merritt and the attacker, which made no sense. To clarify, Lola decided to visit the burglar's surviving family. On the way, a police officer mentioned that someone had marked a necklace in crime scene photographs, which seemed odd. However, upon arrival, Lola found the family's house empty. Unable to wait longer, Lola left, intending to return later. Back at the station, Lola organized her findings and developed a bold theory. Perhaps Merritt's disappearance was orchestrated by her father. All current evidence seemed connected to him, and given their strained relationship, this was plausible. The Luce symbol directly referenced his boat, and Merritt had stolen an important necklace from him, previously providing motive. However, Mork immediately dismissed this theory, arguing it was implausible that a necklace alone would cause such deep hatred. Moreover, if William had seen their father, he surely would have recognized him immediately. Lola agreed her theory was too far-fetched, and the investigation seemed stalled once again. Yet soon after, Ram discovered a significant clue among Merritt's belongings, a card with romantic wording signed simply with the letter S. Clearly, this person had a very close relationship with Merritt. Tracing the card to a now-closed flower shop, Ram suggested speaking to Merritt's assistant for further details. Surprisingly, the assistant highly praised Merritt, describing her as strong-willed and resilient, suggesting she would never commit suicide. Regarding the mysterious S, however, the assistant was clueless, stating Merritt was very private about her personal life. The only person who left any impression on the assistant was a married man named Liam. Merritt appeared to have an interest in him, though Liam was happily married and didn't seem likely to cheat. Nevertheless, Mork doubted this explanation and decided to confront Liam. Liam quickly admitted a brief romantic involvement, revealing that Merritt booked rooms for their meetings at the Prince's Garden Hotel, using her deceased mother's name and credit card. Further investigation revealed Liam wasn't Merritt's only lover. Another man named Sam, whose initial matched the mysterious S, also appeared. Mork now suspected Sam was the real S. But before he could pursue Sam further, he discovered Sam had mysteriously fallen off a cliff the day before Merritt vanished. The timing of Sam's death seemed far too coincidental to be mere chance. Meanwhile, Merritt, imprisoned and tortured again, thought back to Sam, as well suspecting he was connected to her kidnapping. Her captors chillingly informed her that Sam was already dead, and it was because of her actions, leaving Merritt shocked and confused, since she clearly remembered spending a night with Sam just 2 days before her abduction. To investigate Sam's death, Mork first approached the man who had discovered Sam's body, a rock climbing instructor who seemed to know Sam quite well. According to the instructor, he had arrived early at the climbing park that day, intending to take promotional photos. He noticed Sam's car parked outside the locked gates, though Sam didn't have a spare key, and the park gates were always locked overnight. Realizing Sam might have spent the night there, the instructor entered and found Sam's body below a cliff. Police initially concluded Sam died accidentally while climbing without safety gear. Mork learned Sam was similar to Merritt, reserved, private, adventurous, and frequently seeking out dangerous challenges. Sam visited the climbing park weekly without exception. However, Ram pointed out a crucial inconsistency. Neither Sam's keys nor phone were found near his body or vehicle. Sam, as a journalist frequently exposing corruption, would undoubtedly be cautious, always prepared for emergencies. Ram theorized Sam might have been murdered with the crime staged to look accidental. Mork agreed fully. This changed the investigation's direction. To uncover the truth, they needed to know exactly what Sam had been investigating prior to his death. Mork visited Sam's newspaper and spoke with Sam's editor, who surprisingly knew nothing about Sam's recent investigations. Sam always worked alone, used disposable phones, avoided fixed addresses, and never shared his research until publication. Disappointed, Mork left the newspaper, feeling the investigation had again hit a dead end. Frustrated, he met his former partner seeking advice. During their conversation, Mork's partner pointed out Merritt seemed unusually wealthy. Mork explained Merritt inherited substantial money from her mother, leaving a large bank account balance. His partner suggested perhaps someone targeted Merritt for her fortune, but Mork quickly dismissed this, since no ransom had ever been demanded. Yet this conversation led Mork to another idea. After Merritt disappeared, her inheritance would legally pass to William. Given William's mental condition, the inheritance would then be managed by his legal guardian, the nursing home director. Remembering how the director strongly opposed police contact with William Mork, grew suspicious of the director's intentions. Mork immediately confronted the nursing home director, who categorically denied any wrongdoing, stating all spending required detailed accounting, subject to scrutiny. However, Mork trusted his instincts and sensed deception. Inspecting William's condition, Mork discovered he was heavily drugged, frequently slipping into unconsciousness. Many other patients appeared similarly sedated, clearly indicating drug abuse. The director claimed this was necessary to control difficult patients, but Mork no longer believed him. Mork decisively removed William from the nursing home, entrusting him to the elderly caretaker's care. Meanwhile, Lola uncovered another lead regarding a local laundromat. Merritt used to frequently patronize this laundromat, but shortly before her disappearance, suddenly changed to a distant location, clearly avoiding the previous one. Accompanied by Ram, Lola visited the original laundromat. When Merritt's name was mentioned, the owner reacted furiously. Merritt had personally imprisoned his daughter, the drug addict who previously attempted to negotiate a deal with Merritt. Now, 4 years later, the woman appeared completely changed, thin, exhausted, and missing one eye. Lola learned the woman had attempted to cooperate with Merritt, offering evidence regarding the wife murder case. However, someone leaked this plan, causing the woman to suffer brutal retaliation, nearly costing her life and resulting in losing an eye. Lola suspected the wife murder defendant Finn might have targeted both the drug addict and Merritt. Reporting this to Mork, he agreed with the suspicion and decided to question Liam again, since he had worked closely with Merritt on the wife murder case. Liam, however, denied knowing anything about this witness, though he suspected Merritt deliberately chose not to use her testimony, fearing it would undermine their case. Before Mork could clarify this with superiors, news arrived that a police colleague had been assaulted by unknown attackers who warned him to stay away from Mork. Fortunately, the officer fought back fiercely, subduing all assailants despite injuries, realizing the attackers might also target him. Mork rushed to protect his family, especially his son. Indeed, the attackers located his son, but Mork arrived just in time, publicly beating one attacker severely. Only afterward did Mork realize the attackers deliberately provoked him, filming and publicly posting his assault, creating severe public backlash. Although the police department faced intense scrutiny, they refrained from punishing Mork, acknowledging the attackers' tactics were unacceptable. Following this, Lola tracked down the attacker's vehicle, leading Mork and Ram to confront him directly. After the man stubbornly refused cooperation, Ram angrily broke his leg, forcing him to confess. He revealed Finn, the defendant in the wife murder case, orchestrated everything, including attacks on police officers and their families. Mork further learned Finn previously threatened Merritt's supervisor Danny, leading Mork to piece together the complete picture. 4 years earlier, Merritt discovered crucial testimony from the drug addict seeking to present it at trial. However, Danny, fearing threats from Finn, rejected Merritt's request, causing the testimony to remain unused. Journalist Sam discovered this secret cooperation between Danny and Finn and prepared to expose their corruption, but Finn learned of this, leading to Sam and Merritt's tragedies. The drug addict who initially provided the testimony also suffered Finn's vengeance, losing an eye in retaliation. Mork, now certain of these details, immediately confronted Danny, but she calmly denied everything. Mork warned her once Merritt was rescued, her corruption with Finn would be fully exposed. After leaving Danny's office, Mork confronted Finn directly. Surprisingly, Finn admitted threatening both Merritt and Mork, but insisted he never harmed Merritt physically. Finn explained his lawyer advised against violence, believing threats or bribery were sufficient. Furthermore, Finn shockingly revealed journalist Sam had been his ally, even tipping Finn off about the drug addict's potential testimony. Hearing this unexpected revelation, Mork was utterly stunned, suddenly questioning Sam's true intentions and alliances. While Mork grappled with confusion over Sam's double-dealing behavior, a new report startled him even more. Someone claimed to have seen someone resembling Sam frequently visiting a juvenile detention center shortly before his death. Realizing this could be a critical clue, Mork immediately headed there to investigate. Simultaneously, Lola pursued another intriguing angle. She discovered the climbing instructor who found Sam's body had withheld details about his relationship with Sam. Phone records showed the instructor sent Sam multiple messages involving the instructor's wife the night before Sam's death. Under pressure, the instructor admitted he had discovered Sam was having an affair with his wife. Though furious at first, he claimed they reconciled quickly since the affair was brief. Lola suspected this revelation provided motive for murder. Perhaps jealousy drove the instructor to kill Sam, disguising it as a climbing accident. Meanwhile, Merritt desperately plotted an escape from her captors. During a meal delivery, she deliberately damaged the hyperbaric chamber, causing a temporary distraction. She climbed through the damaged pipe, grabbed the old woman's phone, and hurriedly called emergency services. Unfortunately, her captors swiftly recaptured her before she could explain fully. Despite her brutal punishment, this failed attempt revealed crucial information. Only 2 captors were involved: the elderly woman and a younger man, whose voice felt strangely familiar to Merritt. This younger captor expressed an inexplicable desire to release Merritt, but was harshly overruled by the older woman, who insisted on tormenting Merritt until death. In despair, Merritt recalled deeply buried memories from her youth. As a teenager eager to escape her dysfunctional home, she secretly arranged to steal jewelry left by her deceased mother, intending to sell it for escape money. Inexperienced at theft, Merritt convinced her boyfriend, a local troublemaker, to help. Tragically, on the agreed night, her younger brother William unexpectedly remained home studying. The theft attempt went horribly wrong. Her boyfriend severely assaulted William, causing permanent brain damage. Overwhelmed by guilt, Merritt spent years caring devotedly for William, hoping to atone. Amid these painful memories, Merritt hallucinated Sam's comforting presence, recalling their last meeting 2 days before her abduction. She invited Sam to her hometown, but noticed he seemed troubled, though she didn't know why. Merritt remained unaware Sam was secretly colluding with Finn at that time. Meanwhile, Mork, investigating Sam's juvenile detention center connections, uncovered startling details. Years earlier, a boy named Sam had indeed spent time there, remembered vividly by staff due to his defiant nature. Later, another troubled youth named Lyle arrived, obsessed with Sam, who he believed was his deceased brother reincarnated. Staff further revealed Lyle's family was notoriously abusive, frequently punishing him by locking him inside a hyperbaric chamber at home. Shockingly, Mork learned Lyle was the younger brother of Merritt's former boyfriend, the alleged burglar responsible for William's assault. At this revelation, Mork immediately understood the connection. Elsewhere, police received Merritt's interrupted emergency call, prompting an elderly local officer to investigate the suspicious home. The elderly woman tried dismissing the call as accidental, but the officer secretly returned, discovering Merritt imprisoned. However, before he could react, Lyle suddenly appeared, swiftly murdering the officer. Realizing their hideout was compromised, Lyle and his mother prepared a hurried escape, deciding to kill Merritt by freezing her to death. At the same time, Mork brought William to identify his original attacker from old photos. Surprisingly, William confirmed Merritt's former boyfriend never attacked him. Rather, it was Lyle who brutally assaulted him. Mork realized the older officer had mistakenly accused Merritt's boyfriend due to negligence, causing the boyfriend's accidental drowning during pursuit. Determined, Mork's team raced toward Lyle's residence, discovering the hyperbaric chamber imprisoning Merritt. However, rescuing her was dangerously complicated. Improper opening would cause fatal decompression. Amid this crisis, Lyle ambushed Mork's team, shooting wildly. Mork shielded Ram from harm, sustaining injuries, but Ram seized an opening, swiftly killing Lyle. Police arrested Lyle's mother without further resistance, as she accepted her fate quietly. Merritt, rescued, soon recovered, fully visiting the police station personally to thank Mork, though he was absent at that moment. Meanwhile, Mork, now armed with evidence of corruption between Danny and Finn, forced Danny to substantially increase his department's budget and promote Ram from temporary to permanent status. Having achieved justice, Mork left Danny's office, pleased, encountering Merritt briefly, though she didn't recognize him. With more pressing tasks ahead, Mork departed without unnecessary conversation, ending the complex investigation conclusively. The film concludes here. This gripping mystery thriller was released in May this year, adapted from a Swedish novel. The storyline is extremely detailed, meticulously laying down numerous hints in the early stages, allowing the audience to feel deeply satisfied when the truth is eventually revealed. For For those who enjoy intricate mystery plots, watching the original movie is highly recommended. This marks the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Your likes, comments, and follows are our greatest encouragement. See you all next time. In the end, the veil of secrecy was finally lifted, and those responsible paid dearly for their sins. The female prosecutor, once thought lost forever, emerged from the shadows bearing a heart scarred by pain, but stronger than ever. Inspector Mork, despite being cast aside, ultimately proved that justice would always prevail, even after countless challenges. Yet, the scars of the past could never be easily erased. Each character had to confront their own truths, carrying memories impossible to forget. Though the case was closed, its echoes continued to linger, reminding us that sometimes the truth is buried not by evil itself, but by the silence of those who know, yet choose to turn away. Thank you for accompanying me through this thrilling story, and I look forward to joining you again on our next journey to unravel more mysteries.